everything uska saar jo hai, is the Vedanta. And of the Vedanta, of that Vedanta, the summary is in these three shlokas, 15, 16, and 17. So we'll have a quick look at what it is and how it relates to today's verse. So today's verse specifically talks about two types of living entities, those who are mistake prone and those who are infallible. They don't commit any mistakes. So we'll understand what are the characteristics of these two types of jivas. And then, of course, the interesting part is we'll get into a group discussion. And the topic is going to be how we can change from being fallible to infallible. Is it possible? And then before we get there, why? Why should we change? Everyone has inertia to change. We love the status quo, whatever it is. So why change? Why go through that extra effort? We'll discuss that as a group. Then what to do? If we get the reasons why we need to change, then what is it that we have to do? And then how to go about doing it. So if we have a clear understanding of this, then we understand today's shloka, correct? The characteristics of two living entities. As always, I owe my humble obeisances to His Grace Gauranga Priya Prabhu. Gauranga Priya Prabhu is the author of Bhagavad Gita notes that I refer to whenever I'm doing classes. I'm requested to do the seva of giving class in Bhagavad Gita. So thanks to Gauranga Priya Prabhu and all glories to him. If you're interested, there's a link. You could download his Bhagavad Gita notes. It is free of cost. So let's understand this three shloka of knowledge, right? Summary of the Vedas and Vedantas. So what it talks about, everything is condensed into just this one concept. Personalism is the complete knowledge of the absolute. The absolute is vast. The absolute is infinite. We are infinitesimal. So there are different understanding or realizations that the jiva can have about the absolute. We could have just an impersonal understanding, which is his Brahma Jyoti, his effulgence. You could just have that understanding, but it's not complete. Then the jnani, the yogis who meditate, they can get up to a level where he is the Paramatma, the super soul who resides with each he accompanies each jivatma in the body that he occupies. So that's a little higher understanding, but it's still not complete. But the complete understanding is the Supreme Personality. We hear this word very often, sentence, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Personality. Who has a personality? A person has a personality. Things that are abstract do not have personality, like strength. It doesn't have a personality. Strength belongs to the strong. It's an attribute of the strong, and the strong is a person. So similarly here, it says that the personalism, when we get to that person, the Supreme Person who is Bhagavan, the possessor of all opulences in full, that is the complete knowledge of absolute. So understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person is the complete knowledge that there is. It includes the Paramatma and it includes the Brahman, his all his aspect of being everywhere, Brahman, as is eternity. So here we see 15.16, today's verse. What does it say about this personalism? That there are two jivas, two types of jivas, the fallible and infallible. We'll get into this a little bit more in the coming slides. 17 talks about the Paramatma is the master of both. So have this understanding that there are two types, fallible, infallible, and the Paramatma is the master of both. And 15.18, what it says is that Krishna is the Paramatma. Krishna is the Paramatma. Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna. And he is beyond the fallible and the infallible. So remember that line I had highlighted, that sentence, that we are eternally the separated part and parcel of Krishna, whether you're fallible or whether you are infallible. So, and when it talks about oneness, we'll discuss that. Oneness doesn't mean you merge into Krishna. That is the concept of the Mayavadis, which these verses disprove. And it shows that how that is an improper or an incomplete understanding of all of the absolute truth of what there is. So now let's understand this characteristics of the fallible and infallible beings. Okay, so we'll first take, for example, the fallible. Let's understand fallible. What are their characteristics? The jiva, in its sense, is perfect because it is part and parcel of Krishna. So the example given, Prabhu's Mataji's, is that the sea water, the ocean, a drop of the ocean has the same characteristics. So if you do the pH level, the saltiness, or whatever it is exactly same as the ocean itself. However, qualitatively it is one, but quantitatively it is different. The ocean is immense and the drop is minute. Krishna is infinite and the jiva is infinitesimal. Now, being infinitesimal, it comes under the control of the material energy. And this material energy manifests itself as this material world that you, me, and all of us are currently occupying. We are living in this material world. So our spirit soul comes in contact with matter. The first matter that we see is this body that we are occupying, and we identify, yes, this is me. No, it is not me. I'm the spirit soul occupying this body. So when we get in contact with matter, when the spirit soul gets engulfed in matter, it becomes fallible. Otherwise, it is perfect. In its original state, it is perfect. Then what happens is, when it connects with matter, one of the fallacies is it struggles with the mind and our five senses. We know the five senses, right? Of the eyes, nose, smell, taste, hearing, touch. So, and the mind. The mind plays havoc. So Krishna tells, it can be your best friend, the mind, if you can control it, or it's your worst enemy. Very few of us can control our mind. And even if some of us, through discipline, can control the mind, it is not long lasting. It's just a matter of time before it slips up. So we're always struggling with the mind and the five senses. Now, this body of ours, the matter, because it is matter, it is not permanent, it is impermanent. It always is going through changes. It comes into existence, it grows, stays for a while, reaches maturity, then it reproduces, then it starts getting old, dwindling, and then finally it just vanishes. Thus thou art. In the Bible, it says, thus thou art, and thus thou shalt return. We're all made up of this mud, which are even Shastras explained, right? We all of these elements, the five major elements. So it all comes together. And then finally, when the soul leaves the body, it just vanishes. It goes back into whatever the elements are. So this is what happens with the fallible person. Then, because we are in contact with matter, the living entity appears to change. The operative word here is appears to change. The living entity doesn't change. Chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, wind can't dry it, water can't wet it, sword can't cut it, fire can't burn it. Detailed description of what the jiva is, who the spirit soul is. You can neither add to the jiva nor can you subtract. It is as it is. However, because it is engulfed in this matter and matter is changing, it appears that the jiva is changing. So if you look at your photograph when you were a newborn baby, and as you become a youngster, maybe your 10th birthday, and then as a teenager, and then as a young man, then you get married, and then with your first kid you have your photographs, and then with the family it grows, and you get to middle age, then you can see how the body is changing. You can see how the body, sometimes you get surprised. Oh, is this me? You know, you look at your picture 20 years back, 30 years back, and wow, I look so different now. So we appear to change, but we are not changing. We think we are changing because we are identifying with this body. And then it says, Krishna says that from Brahma, the topmost living being in the material world, Shri Brahma, Lord Brahma, to the smallest ant or the smallest organism, living creature, everyone changes his body. Brahma is a title like vice president, CEO. So these are titles, and based on certain qualification, a jiva can get the post of a Brahma, or he could get the post of Indra. But Brahma is a living entity. And this living entity in the material world, his body also undergoes change, just as an insignificant ant. Anyone who is in the material world will change. The body will change because that's the nature of matter. So then we have the other class of living entities who are called the infallible. Infallible means perfect. That is infallible. And fallible is imperfect, right? So what is this infallible characteristics? Oneness with Krishna. This is a very important point to understand. Oneness with Krishna. What does oneness with Krishna mean? Now, in one sense, the voidists or the Mayavad may say that, well, here's where the scripture supports our argument that, you know, it's we are one. And the example they give is like the air. The air in a matka, in a pot that is contained in there, correct? The pot is the form. And when the pot breaks, the air merges in the air which is outside. But here, the oneness of Krishna is not that the person loses, the jiva doesn't lose his identity. That identity remains, because if you see chapter 2, it's as is. Nothing can destroy it. It can't be destroyed. Matter can be destroyed, matter can be created, matter can be transformed, right? Like energy, we say, right? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it can only be transformed. So similarly, that is matter. But with the soul, it can't be destroyed, it can't be transformed, it remains as is. This is a very important point. So oneness with Krishna is oneness in terms of the purpose of Krishna. Our intentions, our actions is aligned with what Krishna's intentions and purposes are. It's not divergent, it's convergent. That is the oneness with Krishna. We are one, we are in step. We are marching with Krishna in step, not according to our own beat. Then here, there is no disunity. When we talk about this unity, as I just explained, we have that unity with Krishna. That's we are one with him. But we always remain the part and parcel, and it can't be destroyed. It just doesn't dissolve, like how example of air. That air mixes with the air and you really don't know which air was in the matka and which air was outside. It's all one. So that's not how this verse explains it. The infallible, there is a situation and a place called the spiritual world. And in those infallible jivas, they also have bodies, but they have spiritual bodies. And these bodies don't change. It remains as is. The body is as is. It doesn't change. Always liberated in oneness. So when we are marching in step with Krishna, when we are aligned with Krishna, that is liberation. Then this liberation is no longer struggling with the mind and five senses. It's our consciousness which is creating whether we struggle or whether we are liberated. The infallible person is overcome his desire for the independent enjoyment. All of us want to enjoy independently. However, when those who are aligned with Krishna, Krishna's enjoyment becomes your enjoyment. And when that happens, how that happens is when you surrendered to Krishna. The summum bonum of Bhagavad Gita instruction, what does it say? Sarva dharman parityaja, right? Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion, surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all sins, reactions, everything. Do not fear. That is surrender. So when we surrender, then our desire is aligned. What Krishna wants, not what I want, whatever Krishna wants, and of course, his representatives. So, Prabhu's Matajis, now we come to the group discussion session. I'll humbly request you, please unmute yourselves and participate in this. That's how it becomes interactive, and we get to learn. We get to understand each other's thoughts and realizations. Don't be shy. Don't think that, oh, I may say the wrong thing or whatever it is. So here are a couple of quotes. To make mistakes is human. To blame is being human. So typically, whenever things go wrong, we always look for something or someone to blame. To accept responsibility and fix it is the perfect human. So this is what we're trying to be. We're trying to achieve a state of perfection. And Srila Prabhupada said the perfected state of a human being is called a Vaishnava. So based on this, we'll try to understand why we need to change, what to do, how to do it. These three columns, we'll try to put our minds together and learn together how this works. So why we need to change? Can someone say why we need to change? I see here in the participants list, everyone is known to everybody. So don't feel shy. And I can assure you nobody is judging or scoring. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What I feel like I need to change because we have so much of false ego, and we are in such a state that we want to enjoy, not in the mood of to serve or to be in a humble mood. So that's the thing, like we need to change ourselves.
Okay. So why?
Because in the if we are not in the humble state, we can't be the servant of Lord. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us to be.
Behind Mataji. I'm going one step behind.
Yeah.
We're starting, let's start from a clean slate, okay? Now we have some knowledge about humility, servant of the servant, and things like that.
Yeah.
What is the basis? Why do I need to be a servant of a servant? Why do I need to go back to Godhead? I'm happy where I am.
That is the illusion that I'm happy where I am. So it's not the happiness, it's just the gap between the happiness and the sadness. And we feel that we are happy. So
okay.
So means this three modes of material nature, it acts on us, and then we feel like either we are in all these three states, either we are in the satogun, rajogun, or in the like ignorance. So when these three
I'm playing the devil's advocate, okay? I'm just trying to get everyone's thinking, everyone's thinking. I'm happy where I am. I don't see a need to change. And it doesn't matter. I could be a very wealthy person, or I could be a total beggar on the street, or I could be a drug addict. मैं नशे में मस्त हूँ. I don't need to change. Why should I change? You're saying illusion, you're saying all these things, but I think you're an illusion. Everybody, it's not just a dialogue between Mother Sarita and me. Everybody, please think. Why change?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So
that's a
why I want to change is I want to be happy, right? No, I always know I long for happiness, right? And the only way, when I go after the material happiness and all, then more or less, it's a roadblock. Okay, you keep constantly going to the cycles, and right, then you realize that it is not really, permanent happiness. But how can I get that permanent real happiness, which is not depending on any situations and all that, right? So that's what I want. That's my basis. I want to be permanently happy. That's why I want to change.
Okay, so basically, we all experience happiness, but this happiness is temporary, and we need something which is longer lasting, more fulfilling, more satisfying, which I've used a word called contentment. So that's one reason why we'd like to change. Okay, good one. One more. Let's do three each. So one more point. Why change?
Prabhuji, to align our desire with the Krishna's desire.
That comes later. Let's put it this way. Suppose we didn't know anything about Krishna conscious, or we're talking to a person who knows nothing about Krishna conscious. Blank slate. Why change? And let's say this person is really, really happy. Happy as in the traditional, normal way of how we understand happiness. खुश है वो. Why? So yeah, contentment, because a person who has gone through the cycle of happiness, misery, the cycle, it's all flickering. That contentment is not there.
Prabhuji, what I know, like only 4 kinds of people that they come to Krishna consciousness, like who have a desire to know, like inquisitive, or to gain the knowledge, or who are in the misery, or who have some like material desire. So if a person is very happy, and like if you say like Ambani to join, like it will be hard for him to join the Krishna consciousness. Like he find himself to be in a very comfortable position, and then it's hard to make him understand that why.
So if we can look at this, there are many reasons, but yes, if we can encapsulate it as one is get out of the illusion. So to get out of the illusion, a person who's an illusion doesn't understand he is an illusion, he is in reality. So there have to be experiences. वो धक्का जो बोलते हैं, धक्का लगे. Or it could just be a trigger of curiosity. Why is this happening like this? Why not like that? What else is there beyond all this? Greed, grief, we all are familiar with it. Contentment. So if we can get an understanding of this, what should you do? What do I do to get out of illusion? What do I do to get out of greed? And it's so ingrained in us. It's our nature, our material nature. But कहते हैं ना उसका nature है ऐसे. What can I do to stop being greedy, to stop lamenting, to stop hankering? Hare Krishna. I have Ashish Prabhu, Ramakrishna Prabhu, Shachirani, Sandeep Prabhu. What are your thoughts?
What is
Yes,
the
so
question, Prabhu? Can you please repeat?
What to do? So we have why we should change, the impetus to change. These are the triggers to change. Change from fallible to infallible. So what must we do? So for example, how do we get out of what is it that I'm required to do? If I say that, fine, I want to change.
recognition,
Yeah.
recognizing that this is a problem.
Yeah.
Haribol
Okay.
Prabhu, Dandavat Punam to everyone. So,
Prabhu, 1 minute. I'll come to you. Let Mataji
Sure.
finish your thought. Recognition.
Recognizing that this is a problem. If you don't think it is a problem, you will not even have an impetus to change.
Okay.
Can I say now, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So mostly how our thoughts are generating. The first question. First question is our thoughts are generating based on the neurons. So we are thinking and talking because our brain consists of neurons. So we need to change the neuron pattern. So I join class today, and tomorrow same time my neurons will generate. Okay, there is a class you need to join. And I need to do some chanting. So like that, if you're having in office work, your neurons need to definitely support only office work. Do not do any WhatsApp group conversations, all those things. So our thought process depends on our neural pattern.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The neural, look at it this way. The neural patterns is just an apparatus.
Okay.
Chemical reaction,
Mhm.
which translates to an electrical impulse.
Yeah.
Or neurons and your synapses and all. This is all matter.
Yeah.
Actually driving it is the soul and the consciousness around the soul. So the trigger comes from the soul. The desire comes from the soul, not from the neurons, not from the brain. And they've done experiments. Literally, I forget his name, a Canadian surgeon. And if you stimulate one part of the brain, you give a trigger, his hand will come up.
Okay.
And then when they told the person, and he's conscious, they told the person that lift your hand on the basis of it. He lifted his hand. So who's the person who was lifting the hand? How did that happen? So the apparatus is available. Eyes are an apparatus. The ears are the apparatus. Brain is it's matter. It's all matter. And matter is always inert. It only gets activated like a car, no, Prabhu? Car is there. It has all the facilities, brake, steering wheel, petrol, whatever. But till the human being sits inside the car and says, go, it won't go. No, people may say, oh, we have drones, Yeah, drones also there, but there is some intelligence, some jiva is controlling it.
Yeah.
What must we do?
So yeah, it is also learning for me through you, Prabhu. So that is my understanding and level of knowledge. So it's also kind of it's a knowledge sharing from you and me and from our ISKCON family members also.
You bring a very good point on the brain and the neurons, synapses.
Yeah, but you are you are on top of my points, so that thing I need to learn from you. So Yeah.
I mean, when I've learned it, I had the same exact same questions, and I've only learned, thankfully, and all I'm doing is sharing. So yeah. So
And also
every-
commitment and dedication, Prabhu. So yeah, if you have that commitment and dedication, automatically we will not go to that mode. So I am a vegetarian. I am not drinking anything, but people surrounded by me are a lot of non-veg and drinking people are there.
yeah,
Why I'm stick to the fundamental principles is my family and my goal, and do not eat any meat like that. So
correct.
so
So you have
like
your
that,
dedication.
attaching with the fundamental principles wherever you go on this planet or out of the planet also. So yeah, committing to the fundamental principles is the key element where you cannot deviate to any other activities. So that is my practically
A very
implementing.
good point you raised. That's a
Yeah,
very, very, very valid point. Two
yes,
things: commitment and dedication.
correct, Prabhu. Yeah.
Commitment is that will to get things done, and dedication is no matter whether the road is smooth or whether the road is bumpy, whether everyone around me is drinking, I'm the only one not drinking, whether they're insulting me, making fun of me or anything. I am committed to this principle that I will not do something which is detrimental to me and my loved ones, and I'll stick with it. So yes, that's how change comes about. What else? There was Ashish Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat
Oh,
Pranam to
Krishna.
everyone. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhu, one thing is that came to my mind that always came to my mind right now. Right now, not. But I realized that uh, Mahaprabhu's word, we are full actually. Whatever we are thinking, all are the contaminated. Something is contaminated. We are not thinking properly.
Correct.
We have no power to think also. So we are full. Only do chanting. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We should chanting as Mahaprabhu told that his guru told that he is full. Just do the chanting.
Okay. Okay. Very valid. Nice. What else can we do? So we have, first is you recognize and accept that, yes, I want to get out of the situation. The situation is not right for me. Then that brings about commitment and dedication. We can understand, oh, but I don't want to do anything about it. Nothing will change. Then you take shelter of persons who have changed. They are the ones who are going to hold your hand, and they'll tell you what to do. Do it like this, don't do it like that. Mahaprabhu has given the instruction, chant. Prabhupada said the ABCDs: associate, read books, chanting, diet, which Ramakrishna Prabhu was talking about, no meat eating, offer Krishna Bhoga, eat prasadam, do deity worship. Yeah, so that is taking shelter of persons who have changed. Shelter means obeying the instruction. Great. What else? Sandeep Prabhu, Sarita Mata and Sudhakar Prabhu and everyone else, you all can please join in. It's not that you give 1 point and काम
Hare
हो गया.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I think Prabhuji already covered few things which came to my mind, but I think what to do is, I think the biggest thing if I look at my side and perspective is mindset, right? If you think that you are planning to change, first thing is you have to have mindset and willpower. Willpower comes through your thinking. You have to think right approach. You're going not about just Doing Krishna, you have to be thinking positive, helping people, help as much you can, and thinking positive and just willpower. I think if you have two things, willpower and thing, I think then you can think about making a change. If you don't have a good willpower and your mindset is it's duller, and you think, okay, sometimes you think I want to
Yeah.
change, and sometimes you don't want to. So
That's in the domain. Yeah, you're right. That's in the domain of number 2, commitment and dedication.
Commitment and dedication.
So let's ask this, a real life example, grief. We want to change because of grief. And we say, हाँ, अभी मेरे को change करना है. And मैंने ये निर्णय, I've taken this decision, I'm going to change. And I'm motivated, I'm inspired, everything. No, it so happens that I lose a loved one. And I'm plunged into grief. It's natural, right? Someone who's very close to us and we lose that person. Unka dehant ho jata hai. So when I say, grief, what do I do to get away from grief? Do I not cry? Do I not feel sad? Do I become cold-hearted? You know that story, right? There was this spiritual master and he had a disciple, and he had this thing, be detached. So he became detached from everything. Being detached, his wife died, and he came and he told his Guru Maharaj very proudly, Guru Maharaj, my wife died, but I did not shed a single tear. So Guru Maharaj told him, go and remarry and learn how to develop attachment. If you can't get attachment to a person close to you, how will you get attached to Krishna? You understand this instruction? So, the Vaishnavas say that if we really get this detachment, it makes us hard-hearted. It has to be done under the guidance. So grief, how do we get out of this cycle of grief? What do you do? And grief will happen. We may lose a job, we may lose our loved ones. Kuch na to kuch hote hi rehte. What do you do? Or how do we stop being greedy? We may think we are not greedy, but believe me, we all are greedy. We all have more than what we need. All. Both greed and grief. What to do? How do we go about doing it? So curiosity, yes, shelter of persons who have changed. Ask them questions. They'll guide you.
For grief, I think I can say that once you get the realization.
You're breaking off, Sachivani.
We can get the realization, once we get the realization that nothing happens without Krishna's will.
What is the step before realization?
Sorry?
What is the step before realization?
Surrender.
There's something called knowledge.
Okay.
So we need to get the proper knowledge. So if I have knowledge, because many a times I could be, how do I say, I'm going with my wife, speed limit is 65, I'm on the freeway, and bato karte, it starts climbing 70, 75, 80, 85. I don't realize it. The car is really going at a really high speed. Till such time, my wife says, hey, you're going really fast. So I need an external person to tell me I'm going fast. So I get that knowledge and I can act upon it. Now, at times, even my eyes may go onto the dashboard and I see it is going 75, 80, 85, but it thrills me. Arre, dekhe kitna fast jata hai gaadi. Then I need an external person to tell me, hey, slow down. Or I would have, as Prabhu had mentioned, that discipline which comes in. Oh, it seems thrilling, but no. The other side, my intelligence is telling me that be careful. it'll cause a mess. So, okay, knowledge, get knowledge. Great. How do we go about doing it?
Hare Krishna, Babuji. Reading Shastras is something that will help us acquire knowledge.
Yes. Read Shastras.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, please.
Do you need knowledge or do you need faith?
Ah.
I think faith is more important than knowledge, right?
Yes. Yes, but you need knowledge, like Romapad Maharaj had said. Faith is necessary. Faith is that power which allows us to understand the things that can't be understood. It allows us to see things that can't be seen. In absence of faith, there's really nothing that we can do. Actually, in absence of faith, we cannot even function in our day-to-day lives. Forget spiritual life, forget going back to Goloka and all that. Our day-to-day life, you sit in your car and you go on your way to work. You have faith that the other person coming in the opposite direction, traveling at 40, 50 miles an hour or whatever, just won't swerve into your lane, and he will obey the traffic laws just as you obey the traffic law. You don't know him. You don't know the condition of his mind. You take a flight. You don't know the condition of your pilot. You're literally putting your hand in the life in the pilot's hand. You have faith. So in absence of faith, literally nothing can get done. And same way over here, we need to have faith, but not blind faith. And so as to not have blind faith, we need to have the proper knowledge coming from what they call the bona fide authority, coming in the parampara system, where they're giving that knowledge as it is without any concoction and without any interpretations or whatever it is. Bhagavad Gita, there are 700, 800, I don't know, hundreds of versions of Bhagavad Gita. To the extent that Krishna is not Krishna, but it is Krishna within the Krishna, all khichdi. So yes, faith is very, very important. Good point. Thank you, Shachirani. So to Sudhakar Prabhu's thing, how you go about do it is read the Shastras. Shastra, of course, when we say is the, again, bona fide, it's assumed, okay? Not anything and everything. It will only cause confusion. What else can we do? How can we go about doing it? Now, this is action.
Prabhuji, one thing came in my mind, like when we start seeing the things differently, maybe something going wrong in my life, but I keep on seeing some positive aspect of it. Like maybe we are chasing about something and we are not getting it. Many a time it happens. So previously, maybe seeing the thing changes, like, oh, I can't do this. Maybe in a negative sense we can think of, but we start seeing in a different way. That's
So you're saying
because
change
when we
the point of view?
change means when we have that knowledge and when we start implementing those knowledge, then the way we see the things, it changes. Same grief, like if you are someone like very dear to you passed away, but when we start the knowledge which we have acquired, which we have, like, okay, this is the material world and this is going to happen, and the knowledge which we have gained from the bona fide bona fide people, then and when we implement it, then the things changes, like the way of looking at the things changes.
Yeah, so we change our point of view. Good point, Mata Sarita. So, like for example, death. जो मर गया तो उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. The person who has died, it makes no difference, right? He has moved on. He's just left his body behind. So the grief is actually our own attachment, that we no longer will have any kind of sense gratification that this person whatever his or her role be, where I won't be able to engage in that. So yes, having that proper knowledge will bring about us changing our point of view, changing our habits, because we're all creatures of habits and we all are accustomed to thinking in a particular way. Very good.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah, great.
Prabhuji. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
please go
Hare
ahead.
Yeah, actually, we don't have time to read books to get a knowledge, definitely. So, Bhagavad Gita. So, in class, we are coming and we need to appreciate our devotees. They're reading books and coming and sharing the knowledge. When I listen 1 30 minutes class, I used to give demos when I was a student. To give 30 minutes demo, I need to prepare for 4 hours. It's not easy to say continuously like Simheswara Prabhu and yourself. So definitely everyone needs a lot of time to go through the books to get knowledge and sharing with that. But another method is I don't have time to read, but I have Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When I
Very
chant this one, everything will go away. Whatever in my 7 chakras, in my aura will be clean. My heart will be clean. Pleasantness will be brought to it, to our heart, and people surrounded by us, by me. The before chanting, I used to scold them in my heart, and I think in a different negative thoughts in my heart. So when I chant this one, I don't have time. I have only mantra. I
yeah,
chant in my heart, and it purifies everything. My thought, it purifies my thought process, my lust, my anger, my jealousy, my ego.
yeah.
Everything is gone away in a minute. So
That's
that is
that's
the
what
yeah, yeah,
that's what you're right. So I like what you're saying, Prabhuji. The thing is, first point is when we say time, we have to recognize that we are under the control of time. We can't control time. You, me, everybody has 24 hours in a day, all of us. And you're a grasti like me. So you have family responsibilities, you have
correct.
responsibilities of office, you have responsibility to your parents and relatives, you have responsibility to society, plus you have responsibility for your own development, your spiritual development, your well-being, and whatever, so we have all these responsibilities. And many a times what happens is that these responsibilities kind of conflict with each other, and we are left in a position, should I do this or should I be doing that? If I do this, then this one gets a little bit down, or if I put my attention. So all we're trying to do is, oh, which is priority, which is on fire, I'll go and put my attention there. And all the time we are as though taking 2 steps forward and going back another 2 3 steps, again going forward, going backward. So time management is a problem with everybody. It's a problem with everybody. But at the same time, it can be done, which later on we can discuss how it can be done. But you've rightly said is japa. Now, what happens with japa, Prabhu? Just this words, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So actually, there are 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. Correct? And it is arranged in a particular sequence where it will have the most efficacy, as you said, to remove the lust, the anger, and what we call it in one bucket of anarthas, out of us. However, it's something like, if I can give an analogy, we take medicine. So for example, I have to take medicine for my hypertension, correct? So there is a medicine. I don't know what is the chemical composition of that pill, but I know that when I take it, it's working. I can feel the effect. Now, at the same time, I take it in a dosage that is recommended by a professional who knows everything about it. So if I just take it based on, if I take metoprolol, it will reduce my blood pressure. Oh, yeah. And there are people, believe me, who go on the internet, look up their symptoms, and they buy medicines from the internet and they cause a bigger mess. So in the case of japa, the japa, so that we can chant to a level which completely and totally attentive Romapad Maharaj has said every day, those who have taken vows, who chant 16 rounds a day, it takes anywhere between an hour, 40 minutes to 2 hours a day. He says we chant some, you do 16 into 108 into 16, whatever that number comes to, 27,000, whatever. You can do the math later on. He says we have those many opportunities, and just one word of that mantra, we say it with all intensity. That's it. Nothing else is required. The knowledge is revealed, our identity, everything. But because we have a lot of baggage, and when we feel this sense of well-being, this sense of peace, and it puts us in a good position when we've chanted properly. That is just like a shadow, just a glimpse, how you can say. The door has opened just a fraction and we get a peek into it. So when we do what the acharyas tell us to do, this thing, taking shelter of persons, and which is why it is very important to read. Reading brings the proper perspective, and reading puts us on track to improve. Now, if it is important enough, we make the time. And believe me, with making time, it happens. All of us have 24 hours a day, Prabhu. All of us, Simeshwar Prabhu, you, me, Sarita Mataji, whoever. We all have 24 hours a day. So reading, no Prabhu, reading is such a key, which Sudhakar Prabhu said, and you don't need to be saying, I'll read 1 hour a day. Make a commitment, like you said, commitment and dedication. Make a commitment that I'll read just one verse of Bhagavad Gita every day. I'll read one page of Bhagavatam every day. I'll read 5 minutes every day. But make that a commitment no matter what. And then you see the difference it makes. It will change the lifestyle completely. Lifestyle, when I mean is, of course, you won't give up your job and become a sannyasi. Your consciousness and your point of view, which was mentioned earlier, change your point of view and habits. That will happen. So humble request, everyone, just make a commitment to read. We make a commitment to do japa. Of course, listen, shravanam, kirtanam. So that really helps. So thanks, Ramakrishna Prabhu. I really appreciate your participation. You always ask questions. You always put forward good points of view. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I'm also learning from you, Prabhu, from everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Learning. All of us are learning. See how nice it came up. Mataji brought all this up.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabhus, we have to do Damodar Ashtakam. Maybe one more point if someone can make it. Otherwise, Simeshwar Prabhu, you could lead out the Damodar Ashtakam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anuranga Prabhu. Actually putting together wonderful discussions, going systematically and deep into the subject matter that helps everybody to understand the importance of Krishna consciousness and how we can get into there. That's the most important. Yes, we know, but we don't know how to get there. So this helps a lot. So hearing and chanting and understanding and the knowledge. Definitely knowledge leads to the faith. That improves the faith. That a lot of knowledge always helps. Knowledge is the pillar of the faith. If we don't have proper understanding, then our faith is very faded. It's not strong. Thank you so much.
All Krishna Prabhupada.
All Krishna Prabhupada. Okay, wonderful. Any other comments, questions? Your devotees, please go ahead. Okay, if there is nothing else, then let's go for the Damodar Ashtakam. So a few more days, few more weeks left. Probably we can say, yeah, maybe 2 more weeks. So let's get into, let's put ourselves, as we are all saying that we are all originally Krishna conscious spiritual entities. So our complete or our ultimate duty, dharma, is to realize this and to connect ourselves with that Supreme. So this Damodar month, Kartik month helps and purifies us and takes us to that path of realization and connects us to the Supreme. So remembering the Lord, hearing, chanting, meditating upon the Lord, offering oblations, various ways, all helps to getting more closer to our original spiritual nature. Everything else is pretty much what we can say is a temporary arrangement. Like we eat in the morning, maybe later after we again get hungry, so we eat. So we have to survive. So everything else is survival of this world. The only thing which remains us to pass this repeated, all these issues of this material world is put ourselves in the center, put ourselves in the spiritual platform, and Krishna is in the center, and we put ourselves as a servant of the Supreme Lord. So this way it helps us a lot, and that should be our goal, motive, aim. How can I serve rather than how can I get? Always have that consciousness. How can I serve? That will always leads to all the wonderful things in our life. Okay, so let's get into the Damodar Ashtakam. Let me share. Okay, are you able to see the screen? Damodar Ashtakam. Everybody can unmute devotees.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So who is going to sing today? Who is didn't sing so far? Let me see. Yeah. Very good. Who is going to sing? Sachirani Mataji. You sing last time very nicely.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brashamanam
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam
Yashoda Biyolokaladvamanam Param Rishtamatiyanta Dhrutya Gopya
Yashodhabhiyolukaladavamanam Paramrishtamatyantarutyagopya
Rudantam Muhurnetra Yugam Richantam Karam Bhoja Yugamena Satankanetram
Rudandam Muhurnetra Yukmam Chandam Karam Pujayukmena Sadhankanetram
Muhushwasakam Patri Rekha Kakanta Stita Greva Damodaram Bhaktivattam
Muhushwasakam Bhatririkanna Dagrivam Damodaram Bhaktivedam
इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम्
इति दृक्सुलीलाभृतानन्दकुण्डे सुघोषं निमज्जन्तम् अख्यापयन्तम्
तदीशितनेषु भक्तजितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सत्तावृत्तिवन्दे
तदीशिदास्नेषु भक्तिर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सदा वृत्तिवन्दे
परं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वदिं वा न चान्यं प्रणेहं वरेषाद् अपीह
परं देवमोक्षं न वदिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं परे तदपि
इदं ते वा पुरनाथा गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्य विरष्टं किमन्ये
इदं देवभुर्नाद गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्याविकष्टं किमन्ये
इदं ते मुखं भोजम् अत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुन्तले स्निग्धा रक्तस्य गोप्या
इदं ते मुखाम्बोजन्दनीले हृतं कुन्दलैस्निग्धा
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बारक्तधरं मे मनसा विराष्टं मालं लक्षलाभ्ये
मुहुश्चुम्बिदं बिम्बारक्ताधरं मे मनस्या विराष्ट्रम् आलं लक्षलाभे
नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसिद्धा प्रभो दुःखा जलाब्धिमाग्नम्
नमो देवदामोदर विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाभिमग्नम्
कृपा दृष्टिवृष्टियातिदिनं बतानु गृहाणेश मामज्ञम् यदि यक्षि दृश्ये
कृपा दृष्टिवृष्ट्यादिदिनं वदानो गणेशमामस्नम् एदक्षिदृश्या
कुबेरात्मजा बद्धा मूर्तैव यद्वा त्वया मोक्षिता भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च
कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धैव यद्वा त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिमजौ कृतौ च
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वाकं मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थितामुदरेहा
सदा प्रेम भक्तिं सोगमे प्रयाच्छ न मोक्षे गृहो मेष्टि दामोदरे
नमस्ते स्तुधाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय था विश्वस्य दाम्ने
नमस्ते स्तुधाम्ने स्फूर्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वास्य दाम्ने
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नान्तलीलाय देवयतुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ji ki Jai.
Yeah.
Shri Shri Damodar Ashtakam ki Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's nice. Okay, dear devotees, let's read the translation. It's very easy prayer to the Supreme. Please go ahead.
To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistering earring swings to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yasoda, but was ultimately caught. That Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Second one.
Upon seeing his mother's weeping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick. And as Mother Jashoda bound his belly with ropes, he severed in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To his supreme, to the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Third one.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayana in Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodara, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times.
Fourth one.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
Fifth one. Please go ahead. Read it.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become redent like bimba fruits due to Mother Yashoda kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulence are of to me, but really remain in my mind.
Okay. Sixth one. But is there? O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow and I am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarian vision. Seventh one. Please go ahead. So want to repeat, go ahead and read. Ramakrishna Prabhu, you didn't read it. Murdanta Prabhu.
He'll just come in 5 minutes, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody else want to read?
Yeah, sorry for background noise, Prabhu. So I will read this one, right? Oh Lord.
Seventh one, yeah.
Seventh, okay. Oh Lord Damodara, in your form as a baby mother, Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of the Kaurava, Mangriva and Nakulavara, whoever
What?
cursed to stand as a trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Eighth one, ready?
Oh
O
Lord,
Lord,
please go
O
ahead.
Lord, entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Jashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Yeah. Shri Damodar Ashtakam ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar
Jai,
ki jai,
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 Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru
Jai.
Premanand.
Hari
Thank
Hari.
you, dear devotees, for joining today. And as mentioned, today is also an auspicious day of Bhai Dooj. It's mentioned that one who visits sister, once who visit their sister and receive the treat nicely, worship nicely, and this way the wonderful relationship between the brothers and brotherhood and the sisterhood is always upheld. It's a beautiful, beautiful relationship. It's in our culture. It's a beautiful culture and beautiful way of um, remembering Allah's helping and rebonding with brothers and sisters. So this established by Yamaraj and Sister Amy. Yamaraj visited Sister Amy, and Sister Amy worshipped Yamaraj in a beautiful way and in all respect. And Yamaraj was so pleased and mentioned that one who worships, one who visits, brother visit her sister on this day, they will relieve from all their sinful reactions. So they start that powerful, So it's so nice. It's called Bhai Dooj. So we are a part of it so much, and let's conclude. We'll pay our obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhyevacha padidana pavane
Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai,
jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari. Hari Hari.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you, Amritananda.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Amritananda.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.